Sir, you're charged with especially aggravated kidnapping. You're also charged with aggravated assault, and you're charged with theft of a firearm worth less than $2,500.
You're talking about stuff that is not relevant.
Hello and welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict, and boy do I have a case for you today.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
I think they have got the wrong guy there.
Got the wrong guy. The dog was biting him.
He roughened him up quite a bit. There's a lawsuit.
This is the next search on February 28th, 2020, 7:44 p.m. How, does the FBI find people? The people is misspelled P-E-O-O-P-L-E. Did the defendant find out how the FBI finds people in this case? Oh, she found out.
It is a beautiful day here in Utah. The sky is clear, the birds are singing, the clouds are shining, or the sun's shining on the clouds, one of the two. Welcome to the Court of Public Opinion. I am the Recovery Addict. Thank you very much for joining me today. We are about to kick off with day 4 of watching the Robert Tellis trial. See the birds out there? Eating mosquitoes, probably. So I think that's what they're doing. All right, but here I am in the studio. I've got the hallway open. The doors are open down the hallway so I can see if somebody comes in the house. Because I keep hearing noises. Let me turn this down. I've got to ask you a question. I had second guessed myself. I'm not going to do that. I was going to ask you about Airbnb. Is your expectation of privacy when you rent the whole house? The owner shouldn't show up. Is that right? The owner shouldn't show up unannounced. I'm just saying. That's, knock on the door. Hey, we forgot some stuff. I was like, no notice, no call. Just come on in. Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, let's see. We are getting ready to bring you court is what we're ready to do, which is going to look a little bit different, especially if I push the right buttons. There we go. So it's going to look like this right here. We have audio. We'll do some work on that. It's a great seal right there right now. We'll bring you more as soon as that's available, but currently not there. All right, I'm looking for chat. I don't see it. That's because I didn't do that. Ooh, there it is. Whoa. Chat's going like crazy. Okay. Let me back up just a tiny bit here. You guys were talking quite a bit. Let's see. Don. Hang on. Don, welcome to the gallery, brand new member. And Jen Del Rio says, thank you for another great show. Would you be interested in a timeshare? No, just kidding. Honey, can you please give us some background on the page name? Thank you for all you do. I'd love to. I think that would be a perfect discussion we can have right now. But before I do that, first I have to give the internet to Krista Bolster-Robichaud. Did I say that right? Krista, congratulations. First in chat today, that means you are the winner of what? You say the winner of the internet. You won the entire internet. We're going to sentence you to internet ownership for the rest of the day. It doesn't really help you out at all. In fact, all you do is help other people. So hopefully you've got some free time and a cell phone and a computer and some tech skills, because you might get a few calls from people. Check for two-way mirrors. Oh no, Krista. There are some mirrors here. All right. Melissa says, I never, ever want to win the internet. Please no. All right. Responding to the earlier question about the channel name, I was just explaining this just the other day to a friend of mine. And he's like, so tell me again what you do. I'm like, well, I'm a YouTuber. He's like, I thought that was just kids that play games like Minecraft. I'm like, yeah, well, there's some of those as well. But no, I'm a little different. The question from Jen Del Rio was, can you tell us background on the channel name? I formed this channel years ago. I created this channel years and years ago, like a long time. And my idea was that I wanted to metal detect and film the metal detecting excursions, and that people would want to watch them. I was right about wanting to do that, but I was wrong about people wanting to watch them. And I barely got any subscribers. And most people did not want to watch my videos. They were terrible. And I add to the fact that I rarely found anything good. and so it just wasn't watchable material. Left the channel for a while, just let it sit there for a couple of years. And then when I started live streaming court about a little over 18 months ago, the only YouTube account I had, which would allow me to live stream that day without a 24-hour delay, was this one. And so I started using the Recovery Addict channel, which I had named because I was addicted to recovering artifacts from the ground. I also have my own personal story of addiction, which involves computer gaming and how it took over my life and my job and my family life and everything else. And so we, on this channel, I kept the name Recovery Addict, even though we're covering true crime. And we do support people who are on the path to sobriety with whatever addiction it is. So we have a lot of members here who either have personally had experience with addiction or have, are walking that path right now, or there are family members or friends that have gone that route, and we support all of them and cheer them on. So that is the background for the name Recovery Addict. I do realize that when you search my name on YouTube or Google, it will forever start giving you AA meeting notices in your search history, in your search results. But that's just a side benefit, I guess. It's good stuff. Good meetings, anyway. Yes. Judy, wonderful. Thank you. Let's see. We have, I think when most of us have made it across the portal, we're just getting set to have court start, which it has not yet. As soon as it does, we'll bring you everything live, and I'll get it all synced up and best audio and all that. So we are starting day 4, and I don't know I forget. What does the court in Las Vegas do in the mornings that prevents them from starting early? Is this just their regular business hours? Because I know they're Pacific time, which would put them at 10:30 in the morning is when it starts. But what do they do for the first 3 hours of the day? I mean, I used to have to work at 7. Do courts just not work in the early hours? And another thing, also on when we go live, we are counting something. I think we're counting. It's the anybody counter. There it is. I think we're up to 93. Can somebody verify we were at 93 on the last Robert Tellis live stream, just the very end? I think this is the right counter. The only other option was like 102. I've got 2 counters and I didn't name them. I think 102 was the cuss counter for the previous trial, the bad neighbor trial. All right. I think we're ready to go. I think we're ready. Okay. They're counting bodies. There's a lot of bodies. Yes. Any body. So when somebody says body, like body cam, the body, if a body is shown on screen I'm not talking like a living body, but like the body, when it comes to this case, if the body is shown, that counts as well. Waffles and true crime. This is the way I am. I mean, we have, with our Airbnb, we had some guests staying there that left a few weeks ago. And we had an additional set of all the comforters, sheets, pillowcases, all the bedding for both bedrooms, because it's easier to take the used stuff out and take it out and clean it and just put on the new stuff that's already clean instead of just clean it, wash it, dry it, and then it's for our cleaning lady. It's easier to have multiple sets. We wanted to keep that in that room instead of in our house because we were going to be gone. And we were texting them. We texted them for about a week. Is there a time we could come by and just drop this off and we could put it in the closet? And they didn't respond, so we couldn't go in. I mean, we knew they were gone, but we can't go in there. It's their house. And then the other day to have the owner show up, it's like, hey, just need to get some stuff coming in. Like, no warning, but not a fan. Anyway, they go to the casinos in the morning in Vegas and lose all their money. Then the court staff show up for court to make their money back for work in the afternoon, says Josh. It's a system. They've got it down. Thought we were at 99 on Friday. Okay, 102 is the correct answer. All right. How about that? 102. I have 2 counts, and I wasn't sure if... I'll delete the other one. There we go. 102 is the only count I have now. We stopped at 102. I know we had a couple right at the end of the day. I never saw the owner. My kids opened the door and they're like, "Hey, I'm the owner. Just need to get some stuff." And so the kids let him in. It's like, at least talk to the adults first. That would be nice. Did they fill the hot tub? No. They didn't even tell us anything about the hot tub. Although they took a bunch of stuff. It looks like they're going on a fishing trip. Canoes, life jackets, paddles, a bunch of stuff out of the garage, which we don't have access to. But they have to get in the garage from in the house because we've got like a coded entry door that we can't get out of down there. There are plenty of other exit doors, so it's not a concern that way, but it was weird. But we've asked them about the hot tub over and over. Let's see. Glad this body count thing isn't a drinking game, says Chad is Bay. Yes, this is a better solution than that. As I'm trying really hard not to pull up DoorDash and say my usual order, please. It's time to rate the Airbnb. Put that in the review. That's a big no-no to show up without permission. Ruth, I have not disclosed whether I was in my tidy whities at the time or not. So I will tell you I was not up and out of bed yet. All right. Do they have our number? Yes, because we've texted them over and over, and they've requested that we only contact them through the Airbnb app, which is how we reach out to them over and over and over, and they just don't reply. The hot tub issue would have me heated. Speaking of heat, Libby, the Airbnb here, I don't know what kind of water heater it has, because it's in one of the it's in an area where we don't have access. We can't get in there. The water is like 209 degrees when it comes out. It is. You fill a pan full of water from the sink and you set it on the stove and turn the stove on, and it's boiling instantly because it's that hot already. It is. You can scald a pig with this water. It is. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but it's hot. So no complaints about the heat of the water. It's dangerous. It is. It's too hot. I don't set mine home that hot. It just like steam billows out of the sink when you turn the hot water on, just plain hot. Yeah, I agree. We're going to say something about the hot tub. We're going to continue bugging them about it, and we'll see what happens. All right. We're minutes late for court, which is normal. The court is always a little bit slow. So let's see if we can find some other angles. Let's see here. There we go. Oh, this is a good one. This is what you would call not a clean feed, but great information. HD 420 HQ 1920 1880 by 59.94 frames. SDI. Voltage looks good. They've got only enough space to record for 194 minutes. That's funny. You could fill it yourself on their water bill and then drain it before you leave your stay. I don't want to fill it if it's broken. But if it's broken, I want them to tell me it's broken. Yeah, the hot tub was featured prominently in the title. of the Airbnb. So I'm pushing this issue. I mean, it's scorching hot outside. It's not like hot tubs are best in the winter. Everybody knows that. But yes, Fahrenheit. No, I don't know the actual temperature. I do have a thermometer. I could probably put a thermometer on there and get a read on it. But let's see. We have loved staying in Airbnbs, and we will continue to do it. It's just sometimes they're not all Airbnbs are equal. You know, we have an Airbnb ourselves, so we are Airbnb hosts, and we're also Airbnb guests. And I look at this. We handle our Airbnb much like I handle the channel here. I look at it and say, what would me as a viewer want to have? And I say I want to hit the minimum and exceed that. I want to be better than just average or just okay, and this is, you know, acceptable. And so I'm always trying to improve the sounds, the picture, the quality, just make it a better experience. And we are the same way with our Airbnb. We want everyone to be absolutely thrilled and saying, I chose the right place, and if I ever come back here, that's where I want to go. But not everyone has that same idea. Okay. Got delayed from checking into my Airbnb because the previous people broke and damaged some things. That's too bad. That's sad. Even though this is like our rental place and I consider it like our home away from home, we're also guests here. So, you know, this is family. I need to take this call off here. I think Mrs. Ari was supposed to take my phone but forgot. So where did we leave off on testimony on Friday? We'll take music, says Kim. Next time you'll get music. The court starts late because they just don't care. Yes, I am in Utah for travel vacationing. My son is getting married in Idaho next month, so we're staying here while we tour, where our kids are going to museums and water parks and aquariums and, I mean, history places. We're just we're doing everything we can. That one's down. Start that again. It's mostly working for me and less vacation, but it's fun. You had trouble with verbos? Laura Fry tells us this is the actual answer. Courts have first appearance and bond hearings from the night before, so they are working. They're just working other cases. Alita Lay, we're not going to Lagoon. We're not big on Lagoon. First of all, I'm not big on the rides because they scare me all to death. And my kids, a couple of them would love it, but the others are not so much. I tell you, my daughter, we stopped by a yard sale, and they had a brand new, like in the box, solar powered robot. And my daughter, who has never shown any interest in building anything like that, had previously watched my other son build a similar type robot, and she saw that. She's like, I want to get that, and she bought it. She negotiated the price. It was for $10, and she asked something basically like, how much is the littlest you'll take for it? And they're like, $1. And she says, I would feel bad only paying $1, so I'll pay you $2. So she negotiated $2. She got this robot, and then she built like the entire thing over the weekend. And she's doing a great job. She loves it. But it was funny. I didn't know she had negotiated the price and everything. Let's see. Hello from Idaho, MLC. Welcome. We'll be up in the Boise area early September. Yeehaw Pickles, based in Park City. I'll have to look for those. I don't know where they're sold. I'll be up in Park City. Let's see, the next week. Next week I'll be in Park City for the Corey Richens hearing. Wow, this month has flown by. Yeah, it's next week, I think. I've just been watching YouTube resellers. She watched me do that. I used to buy and sell. Thrift shopping and sell online. That was a fun business. I love it. It doesn't scale very well. You can make good money as long as you work yourself to death. Jan Crucian, thank you very much. Thanks for the kind words. I love that you're a subscriber, and that I'm sorry you can't watch on chat very often, but from Tucson, Arizona, Jan, welcome. Make sure if you turn on your gift membership when you get a chance, there's a chance you might get a membership gifted to you from one of the generous people that frequently gift memberships. Let's see. Boise, Idaho, Nampa, still Treasure Valley. Yes, good area. Put an S on the ends, Jerry. Gifts, plural. There it is. Well, it worked. Enable gifts. You click that link and make sure the slider is moved to the right, like the button has to be moved to the right. Well, this goes left, so it would be to the right that way, the other right. Bug Dugger, thank you very much. Gifting a membership first thing this afternoon as we get started. And Steal Your Heart, Susan B. Yes. 19 months. Steal Your Heart, Susan, one of our OGs. Thank you very much. Welcome. Wouldn't be the same here without you. MLC, I'm usually working while watching, so not in chat, but love the channel, especially the audio here. We do what we can for you audio-wise. Melissa Laurie. Melissa Laurie. I think it's Laurie, not Laurie. So happy. If it is Laurie, I'm sorry. I just renamed you Laurie. So happy to be here for 5 months. Thank you very much, Melissa. Appreciate your generous support of the channel as well. It's Laurie. Well, I was wrong. I now dub thee back Laurie. I pretty much have got everyone's name wrong at one point or another. Behind Rudy's Fairing says, have they gone to see the Golden Spike, where the first railroad connection from east to west coast? Historic site. We're headed there, I think it's this week at some point. I'm not sure if I get to be with them. And I think they're also going to go check out the Spiral Jetty while they're up there, which is, in the middle of nowhere and not much to see up there. But Friday was a rough day for me. We had some problems on the channel that caused problems on other channels, and I was putting out fires for a lot of it, so I wasn't able to focus on things as well as I normally do. So if you guys have a brief synopsis you could offer us, that would be great. Megasaurus X, welcome. Showing my appreciation for my desk today. Wonderful. Hope you get some work done as well. Michelle's Mixed Media Madness. Yes, he has messed up my name in the past. Night 01007. The day is young. The day is young. Today might be the day that I call you Nick or something else. Did we go to a burger bar yet? No. Luna says, how do you make 5 months shown on the screen like that? At the bottom of chat, there's a little, there are a couple icons, and one of them will have a membership message. So if you've been a member for at least a month, every month you get a new free membership message, and you get one a month that you're a member, and you can use that to type in something, and it will pop up on my screen automatically within the length of time you've been a member. usually, and your message, and then I'll put it up on the screen. Sort of like this, but this is a gifted membership. Thank you, Catherine Hendricks. Appreciate that. Teresa, gallery member for 18 months. Is that right? Let me look at that. Is that 18 or 15? 15. I read it wrong. My eyes are a little blurry. Thank you very much, Teresa. It'll be 18 in no time. Danny Austin just gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Danny. Followed by another membership by Kim R. Thank you, Kim. Thank you. Red pen. How does somebody botch Lori? Well, I did, red pen. And this is why I was not an English major. Looking at who received the gifts here. Just one second. Good people, good people. All right. Song Chef, member for 6 months, has been here since roll call. Love RA and our incredible mods in chat. We try to do roll calls. It's usually going to happen when we do a surprise Saturday live stream because it's a little quieter and there are just so many names. Like right now, there's 1,600 people here, and it would take an hour to get through roll call. Ocelia, I've always wondered how to find out how long I've been a member. Thanks, RA. 10 months. Thank you very much, Ocelia. Love the Yellow Courthouse. Holly Mack gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Holly. Thank you. Let's see. I'm missing some here. Oh, I scrolled past a ton of them. Oh, my goodness. It's going fast. Trina Grant, welcome to the gallery. 12 months. You got an orange courthouse today, Trina. Thank you very much. Morgan LaRusick. Love your channel. Thank you, Morgan, for the kind words. 5 months there of support. Thank you for that. Trying not to miss any here as they're going. My screen is just green all the way across. Dizzy Grenade, member for 5 months. Been here since the Maya trial. Krista OG, gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Krista. Oh my goodness. I can't scroll to keep up fast enough. Cass, RA, you're a stellar host. Thank you for being the kind of man you are. Thank you. 18 months, Cass. Thank you for your support. That is huge. I have to switch to the other screen. I can't keep up with all these. Dwayne Harris, welcome to the gallery. Sorry I borrow your name, Dwayne, but somebody thinks I'm Dwayne every time they prank call me. Ivy Berlin, member for 11 months, says, love it here. Greetings from holiday in Italy. In Italy? What's my wife doing in Italy? What movie is that? This came to me from somewhere. I can't remember. Okay, wow. Holy cow. I'm going to have to go faster. I lost my place. Knight01007, member for 1 month. Hey, look, never actually used this yet. Amazing. Now I can say anything and be sure RA will read it. Crazy. Have to make sure not to waste this chat. I love it. Melanie Schuler says, you've got my last name wrong 2 times. Schuler is Schuler, spelled S-K-Y-L-E-R. Schuler. Skyler. Melanie, this is a hard one because that pronunciation just goes against what I know. School. S-C-H. School. Oh, I guess that would be Skyler. Okay, I see it now. I see Skyler. I'll go with that. Melanie Skyler, thank you very much for your support. I'm sorry I mess up your name every time. Tater Tot, member for 14 months. Best sound around, man. Thank you very much. Hopefully we get some sound here from Court in just a minute. We can make it better. Megasaurus X, so close to a year. Just 1 more month and you'll be there. Thank you. Paw Parade, member for 1 month. I can message because of the kindness of the community. Yes, you can. Wonderful. Thank you for the 1 month of support as well. All right. When I say Airbnb, will your hot tub work, Donnie? You might have to bring your own hot tub. That's where we are on that Airbnb. I was just trying to get my bathrooms in my house to work. Salty Girl says, RA, I cannot believe I've been here that long. Thanks for all you do. 16 months, the time flies. Salty Girl, love it. Now I want tater tots. There's a Schuyler County near my in-laws. Grateful for all I do and don't do, and all I don't do. Thank you very much for adding that one. Perhaps the years of French should have just focused on English. Libby, there is some hard truth there. I did not do well in my English classes, but mostly I took English classes as an opportunity to grief the teacher. Calypson's Vixen says, y'all, Recovery Addict has mispronounced my name. Don't feel bad. Yes, I mispronounce equally. I share and share alike. Michelle Marcus, 1 year and 4 days, best channel on YouTube. Thank you, RA. Thank you, Michelle. I love the Orange Courthouse. It looks great. English for me, I challenged my English teacher because I learned the laws. And the laws in the state where I grew up allowed me to object to material that was being taught, specifically books that were assigned to be read, and they were not allowed to ask me why I objected. I would say I object to on religious grounds, and they're not allowed to ask any further questions. That's the way the law was written. And so I would object to books, which would require the teacher to come up with an alternate learning plan just for me. And of course, they don't have one. And to make matters worse, the teacher was familiar with my religious beliefs because hers were the same, and she knew it, but the law would not allow her to say anything about it. And I just love to play that way. I was that sort of troublemaker. I was a pain in the butt. I really was. When they assigned us to write poetry, I liked more. I mean, I like to write poetry. I write songs and things like that. I like to rhyme. I wrote Big Dill, right? I'd like to do stuff like that. But when they assigned poetry, it was more like a Mad Libs, like fill in the blank to make a rhyming. And I'm like, I'm in high school. You think I can write the filler stuff instead of just the last word that has to rhyme? And so I would object to this, and instead of writing a nice poetry piece that they like, I would write the most morbid, downright, worrisome material that I could fit into their little parameters. Of course, that got me sent to the counselor's office to see if everything was all right. But yeah, English and I, we didn't get along. Let's see. If you know French, you should know Robichaud. Krista, I don't know French. 3 years of French. I don't know. Je m'appelle Scott. Selena K gifted a membership. Thank you very much, Selena. Donnie says, I love prank phone calls. Yes, we do those when we can. We try not to interrupt actual court, where are they? Why are we still have nothing? Let's see. Did I miss anybody? Danny Austin gifted 5 memberships. Holly Mack gifted 5 memberships. Are they showing up on screen? Now they are. Krista OG had gifted 5 memberships. We also had Selena gifted a membership. Then we had the 7-month mark from AC, membership message from AC's Wildflowers. That sounds like something my son would do to his teacher. Unfortunately, it's a homeschool family, so it didn't work very often. That's funny. My poor mom. She backed me up a lot of times. Did I tell you my math experience? Math and I, if you look at English, I was like a stellar student compared to how I was with math. I had a teacher that was really, really frustrating to me because she was very condescending and she didn't like me for no reason. I will say she started not liking me before I gave her any reason to not like me. I think she judged me based on the fact that I didn't do my homework, which I don't think is fair. So she would have these tests, the math tests that she would give, and the winner, the person who got the highest score on the math test would get a treat, would get like a candy bar, and she'd do a big presentation. This is high school. It was sort of childish, but it was high school, and it was funny. And I never really cared about math very much, and so I'd do enough to get a C, or maybe a little less. And then I thought, my teacher and I really aren't hitting it off very well. She like yells at me during class and everything else, and I grief her. She would ask me to pay attention in class, and so I would look at her like this. I would cross my eyes intentionally. So it looks like this, right? So I'd sit there, and I can hold this for as long as I wanted. I've just got the ability to cross my eyes really well. So I would do that, and she's like, "Is there something wrong with your eyes, Scott?" I'm like, "No." "Is there something wrong with yours?" Just like returning conversational. She didn't think that was very funny. But one day I decided to really tick her off, and I decided to apply myself and do well on the test, which I did. I got the high score. And that was the week she decided they were no longer going to give out treats to the high score person because I had won. I'm like, oh, now it's on, right? Next test comes around, and I do just average stuff as well. But on the test itself, in the questions, like in the word problems, I start circling letters. And if you put the letters together that I circle, it said some not nice things. But I also randomly inserted a couple that just didn't mean anything. Like, you have to ignore these ones to make it work. Well, she solved the problem. She said, puzzle solved, and she put the letters together and formed the bad words, which you could find in there. And she sent me down to the principal's office. And so the principal's sitting there, and she calls my mom on the phone. And he's got this test, and he's like, "Scott's mom, I'm sitting here with your son in my office, and I'm looking at a math test." And my mom was like, "Yeah, how'd he do?" And he's like, "Well, he did okay, but the problem is," and he's trying to verbalize what I had done, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, I'm so dead, And he's like, "The problem is he's been circling letters on his test," and my mom's like, "Well, isn't that what he's supposed to do?" He's like, "Well, yes, but he's been circling letters in the questions." And she's like, "Okay." And if you take the letters from different questions that he's circled and put them together, they can form acronyms for some bad words. And my mom's like, "Quiet." I'm like, "Oh, great. I'm dead. I'm spoiled." And she's like, "You called me up to say that you can form letters out of words he circled in the test that could be an acronym. If there's a problem, call me back." And I'm like beaming there. I'm like, oh, she stood up for me. She totally stood up for me because she knew this teacher was griefing me really badly. And the principal's like blustering. It's like, she's like, he's done nothing wrong. You've got some letters on the test he circles while he's doing his questions. You solve a real problem. And a couple things happened. I got an F and a U as my grade that year in math. So I guess the teacher got the final word in there, but she also retired because she just couldn't handle the stress of teaching anymore. And I might have been the reason for that. So sort of feel bad, but she was bad first. And I was a kid and didn't know any better. Kathy Trott says, "I know of a homeschool mom that has a YouTube channel. I bet she could help you with your English." I don't know. You need a willing student at that point. Anyway, here we are, still waiting for court to begin. That was the funniest. I think it's the only time I've ever been in the principal's office. Was that I've been sent to the school counselor, which is like a nice word for psychiatrist, a couple times. But only because I was trying to do shock style English assignments just to frustrate my teacher. This was high school, Amy. I don't remember what year in high school that was. Probably sophomore in high school. So 10th grade, right? You were a mean man. I got burned as a kid in junior high. I had a math teacher, and this is when I was all full of desire to learn math. And I had a math teacher that would just, I was very self-conscious. I had been in homeschool for the 2 years leading up to this. I was returning back part-time to full-time school and part-time homeschool. So I was already a little bit the weird kid, right? A little bit of a geek, scared of large groups. And I'd go to math class, and this teacher knew that there was certain things that I'd struggle with, and she'd make me like do the problems up in front of everybody and then laugh out loud at me as I'm doing them if I get it wrong. Just like uproariously, ha ha ha, look what he did, he screwed this up. Yeah, I knew he would. And I'm like, it was frustrating. And then she eventually, she even pulled me out of class one day into the hall. And the whole reason she pulled me out of class is, says, I just want you to know, I hate your shirt. Because I was wearing a school that was a rival to her school that she graduated from. And that for me was the last straw. That was 7th grade. And I decided I was done with math. And I went home and I told my mom what happened. And the next day she went to the principal's office. And then the principal called the math teacher down and talked to the math teacher. And she also went to the school board. And the teacher had her teaching license revoked, and she was fired. So I knew my mom would back me up when I needed to, but the second time was just a bonus. All right. Anyway, now that's my schooling problems. What led to this? Story time's over. Court is about to begin. Robert Tellis on trial for murder for the death of the investigative reporter who was doing a story about Robert Tellis's public administration office and the not good things that were happening there. All right. Stephen Oglesby. Did we look at Benefield? I missed this weekend. We read some this morning in the previous live stream. I must admit, it's probably my worst reading ever because I'm in Mountain Dew withdrawals, but we did read most of them. Mod chat for court update.
Good morning.
An order to be seated, please.
Does the state stipulate to the presence of the jury panel?
Yes, Your Honor.
And the defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you may call your next witness.
State calls Taylor Oliver.
Oliver.
We're going to try to get the audio working a little better than this. Hold on just 1 second. As they're getting the person coming in, I'm just going to see if we can fix this. I think we want to go stereo on this.
And if you'll remain standing, raise your right hand and face forward.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. Please state and spell your first and last name for the record.
Taylor Tolliver, Taylortolliver.
May I proceed? Good morning, Ms. Tolliver. How are you employed?
I'm a detective with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
How long have you worked for Metro?
It'll be 10 years next month.
Okay. How were you assigned back in 2022?
I am criminal intelligence detective.
And what were your job duties back in 2022, say September?
An undercover surveillance detective.
And as an undercover surveillance detective back then, I think we all have a general idea of what that might look like, but can you tell the members of the jury what you did day to day as that type of detective?
Essentially, we would just utilize different equipment and tactics to essentially surveil people, follow them around, observe their activities. Sometimes they would be individuals, sometimes they would be businesses, dependent on what the investigators requested.
And the investigators, when they made a request of surveillance, do they explain their whole case to you, or do they just say, look, I need surveillance on this particular person on this date, or how does that work?
They typically give us objectives and then enough context from their investigation for those objectives, but not in detail their entirety of their cases.
Okay, so just sort of a framework so you can accomplish the objective on the surveillance?
Correct.
Okay. During September of 2022, did you conduct surveillance on behalf of, or at the request of, I should say, Detective Derek Jaffe?
Yes.
And was one of the days that you conducted surveillance September the 1st of 2022?
Yes.
Do you remember if that location was like a neighborhood on a street called Spanish Steps?
Yes.
Who was the target? Who were you watching on that day?
Robert Tellis.
And do you see Mr. Tellis in the courtroom today?
I do.
Could you point to him and describe what he's wearing today, please?
A black suit with a multicolored tie.
Your Honor, may the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant. When you
Mr. Tellis,
were
like, leaned
conducting
over so
your
that she could
surveillance
see him around the
on
monitor.
September the 1st, were you in a vehicle or were you on foot or what kind of?
Predominantly in a vehicle.
Okay, and as part of the surveillance, do you keep a log of activities that you observed on September the 1st?
Yes.
And then based on that log, is that later transferred to the detective?
Yes.
In addition to keeping a written log, do you also sometimes take photographs?
I do.
And on that day, did you take some photographs?
Yes.
And that would be him and at his residence doing whatever?
Yes.
Okay. With regard to the photographs, are those given to the requesting detective as well?
They are.
And then all of that is sort of kept in a Metro file?
I need to
I'm not
back
really
up
sure
just
what
a
he would
little
do
bit.
with it. They're forwarded to the case agent.
After you give it to the case agent, you're kind of done?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach the witness? Thank you. Having shown defense counsel what's been marked as states 348, and on that day, did you take some photographs?
Yes.
Okay, I've got
And
the
that
audio
would be
fixed.
him and at his residence doing whatever?
Yes.
Okay. With regard to the photographs, are those given to the requesting detective as well?
They are.
And then all of that is sort of kept in a Metro file?
I'm not really sure what he would do with it. They're forwarded to the case agent.
After you give it to the case agent, you're kind of done?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, may I approach the witness? Thank you. Having shown defense counsel what's been marked as states 348 through 350, just ask you to look through these photographs and let me know when you're done, please.
Have you guys noticed that the defendant table says
Having
defendant, but
looked
the
at those
prosecutor
photographs,
table says
do they
plaintiff?
fairly and accurately depict what you saw on September the 1st?
They do.
State moves to admit 348 through 350.
No objection.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'm going to, may I publish? I'm going to put on the overhead what's been admitted as states 348. Let me just, can you see that on your screen up there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What are we looking at in that photograph?
The vehicle of Robert Tellis, or the vehicle he operated that day.
Okay. And is it parked basically in front of his house on Spanish Steps?
Yes.
This is states 349. And what are we looking at in that photo?
That is Mr. Tellis exiting the vehicle.
And last one is states 350. Another shot of Mr. Tellis.
It appears to be immediately after him exiting the vehicle, walking towards the residence.
Thank you very much. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Tolliver, so to understand your testimony correctly, Mr. Tellis was under surveillance by yourself at the request of Detective Jaffe on September 1st, 2022.
By myself and my squad, yes.
Photographed him, watched him, correct?
Yes.
You'll agree with me that there were no actions on his part that would raise any suspicions in your mind concerning crimes that may or may not be occurring?
I don't deem what is suspicious. I make the observations and forward them to the detective they requested it.
Did he leave the residence multiple times, a single time? Please explain to us a little more in detail what you observed on the events of September 1st, 2022.
Specifically the first?
Correct.
I believe on that day he left to Target, if I'm correct. And then I believe he also went to pick up a juvenile from a bus stop.
Okay, a child.
That's what she
Child that he
said.
picked up, he returned home to his residence.
Correct.
Fair to say?
Yes.
Were you involved in the surveillance of Mr. Tellis on September 6th?
Yes.
And if you could explain to us what it was that you saw occur on September 6th. Have you reviewed your report in preparation for your testimony today?
I have, but we did a couple surveillances on Mr. Tellez. Oh, I do remember. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So that was the day I don't believe he initially left the house. The day he exited his residence and began cleaning the exterior of his vehicles.
Okay, and just so we're clear, you surveilled him washing 3 vehicles, correct?
Correct.
And do you recall what 3 vehicles those were?
There was the vehicle that was just depicted, I believe, a BMW, a Tesla, and then a Yukon.
Okay. You surveilled him washing the exterior of the 3 vehicles, correct?
Correct.
And this washing of the 3 vehicles took about 2.5 hours, correct?
I believe so, yes.
At no time did you see him enter and wash any of the 3 vehicles, correct?
That's incorrect. I did see him enter a vehicle.
But to wash, you saw him, did you see, when you saw him enter the vehicle, it was to move the vehicle, correct?
No, I saw him enter a vehicle that he did not move.
Okay, and what vehicle was that?
The Yukon.
And what specifically did you see him do inside the vehicle?
I can't say what he did within the vehicle. My vantage point didn't allow me to see that.
He was in the vehicle briefly.
Correct.
You saw him exit the residence prior to washing the 3 vehicles with cleaning agents, correct?
Yes.
And he used those cleaning agents to wash the BMW, correct?
Yes.
The Tesla.
Yes.
And the Yukon, the Denali, correct?
Yes.
I'm trying to get the audio
the
synced.
exteriors
It's a lot of
only,
work to
correct?
do that, so give me a second.
As far as what my vantage point gave me, I saw him wash the exteriors of the 3 vehicles you just mentioned, yes.
Okay, and nothing else, just the exteriors is the point I'm getting at.
Correct. The only thing I was able to see was the exteriors, yes.
Okay. You made note on your surveillance log of September 6th that you saw cameras on the exterior of Mr. Tellez's residence on September 6th, correct?
Yes.
However, you did not see those cameras on September 1st.
I did not.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Just briefly, Your Honor. I'm going to put back on the overhead what's been admitted as States 350. The area kind of above the light here by the garage, that's where there were no cameras, right, on the 1st?
Correct.
And they were later seen on the 6th?
Yes.
Thank you very much. That's all I have, Your Honor.
I have, of course, indulging.
Trying to get a better sync, guys. It's not easy.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for your testimony here today. You may step down. You are excused from your subpoena. And the state may call their next witness.
State calls Christy Baxter.
Christy Baxter.
Please watch your step. If you'll remain standing, raise your right hand, face the clerk, please.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. Please state and spell your first and last name for the record.
It's Christy Baxter. Christy, Chrisstie, Baxter, Baxter.
May I proceed, Your Honor? Ms. Baxter, how are you employed?
I'm employed as a crime scene analyst supervisor with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
How long have you worked as a crime scene analyst?
A little over 7 years.
And how long have you had the designation as a supervisor?
About 2 days.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
But
2
you worked
days.
as a crime scene
Brand new
analyst, I think you said for 7 years?
Yes.
And can you just briefly describe the training that you went through in order to work as a crime scene analyst?
As a crime scene analyst, we undergo about a 3 to 4 month process where we go through the academy, where you learn all the basics to be able to be successful throughout field training. And then you go through a 3 to 4 month process in field training where you're supervised by a senior crime scene analyst. And then at the end, you take a competency test where you have to pass to be able to go on and do actual field work by yourself. And then you continue training throughout your career to make sure you're up to date.
Okay. Now, we've had some testimony before this jury about the crime scene 7216 Bronze Circle. So we won't go into that in too much detail, but did you report as well as one of the crime scene analysts to Jeff Gehrman's residence on September the 3rd of 2022?
Yes, ma'am.
And you worked with Claire Browning and other crime scene analysts and detectives to process that scene?
I did.
What was your responsibility in terms of the scene?
For this scene, my responsibility was impounding all evidence and doing the scans to complete a diagram.
Okay, and we've seen the diagram, but in terms of what you impounded, were they swabs of like possible DNA off like rocks and bushes and that sort of thing?
Yes, we took the rocks as an original surface with apparent blood. We took additional swabs of apparent blood and then DNA swabs of other surfaces as well.
Okay, and all of that was impounded by you?
Yes, ma'am.
When you were at that original scene at Bronze Circle, was Detective Derek Jappy present?
Not at the scene, no.
No. I want to kind of fast forward a little bit to September the 8th. Were you called upon to assist homicide on that date?
I was.
And that was still with regard to Mr. Gehrman's murder?
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you asked to meet homicide on September the 8th?
I was asked to go to the PA's office, which was 515 Shadow Lane.
And by the PA's office, do you mean the Public Administrator's office?
Yes, ma'am.
When you got there, did you see detectives that you knew?
Yes, we all met up.
Okay, and there would be homicide detectives present?
Yes.
Did you see Detective Jappy on the 8th?
Yes, I did.
And was he doing something separate than homicide? Were you there at homicide's request or his request?
I was there at homicide's request.
Did he appear to be taking his own pictures and doing his own sort of look through the PA's office?
Yes, he was.
So it was separate from what homicide was doing?
Yes.
Were you primarily working with Detective Gaddis?
Yes, she was primary on the investigation.
Okay. Was one of your responsibilities on the 8th to take photographs of the offices at the Public Administrator's office?
It was.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor? Ms. Baxter, I'm going to show you what's been marked as states 204 to 213. Just ask you to look through those and let me know when you're done. Okay.
I've nearly got the audio issue fixed. Give me just a minute.
Yes. Having looked through those, do you recognize those to be the photographs you took at the PA's office on the 8th of September?
They were.
Okay. State moves to admit 204 to 213, Your Honor.
We have no objection.
Mm-hmm. And may I publish them? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. I'm going to put on the overhead what's been admitted as states 204. Let me back it up just a little. Do you recognize that photograph?
I do.
And what are we looking at there?
That's the outside of the public administrator and public guardian office.
Okay. And this is states 205. What's that a photograph of?
That's the exterior of the office that was labeled Rob.
Okay. And did you and the detectives eventually went into that office?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm putting on the overhead states 207. Is that in the office?
That is.
And can you kind of orient us just a little bit, like where from the prior photograph is this looking to where the front door of the office is?
So I would be standing behind the desk within the office shooting towards the door.
Okay. And this is states 208.
I think I fixed it here. Just
obviously the desk?
Yes.
So sort of the opposite view of the photograph we just saw?
That's correct.
And I'm putting on the overhead now what's been admitted as States 209. That's the view of the entry into the office?
Yes, from standing at the doorway.
Okay. There appears to be a computer on the desk there. Is that fair?
Yes.
Do you know what happened to that computer?
Homicide detectives collected it.
Okay. And I'm going to just...
Ouch.
Sure, this is States 212. Does that appear to be the computer that homicide collected?
Yes, I believe it's like behind or and those are the monitors, so it's connected to the computer they collected.
Okay, and so they would have impounded that?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I will pass the witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examination.
Yes, thank you. Ms. Baxter, fair to say that you were called upon to fulfill your duties as a crime scene investigator to collect evidence concerning a murder case, correct?
Yes.
You testified that when you were at the public administrator's office on September 8th of 2022 that you saw Mr. Jappy, correct?
I did.
You had testified that you were called upon by the homicide office to be there, correct? Or the
That's
homicide
correct.
detail?
Homicide detectives, yes.
And your job primarily concerned the taking of photos and collecting evidence, correct?
Yes.
Generally, when you work with homicide, that's what you're called to do. You come in, you document the evidence, correct?
That's correct.
Now, you had testified that when you arrived that that Detective Jappy was there, correct?
He was.
And you had testified that he was taking his own photos
He was.
and collecting his own evidence.
I'm not sure if he collected evidence, but I do know he took photographs.
Okay, but you had testified on direct collecting evidence. I mean, he was there doing his own thing, correct?
Yes, he was doing his own thing to take photographs, collect evidence. I'm not exactly sure what he collected, if he did any.
So he was not part of
No,
your
the
team at
audios.
the direction of the homicide unit, correct?
Right.
Does he mouth
Thank
the
you. I
words
have no
that she
further
says?
Are you correct?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you very much for your testimony here today. You may step down and you're excused from your subpoena. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much.
And the state may call their next witness.
State's going to call Matt Havana to the stand. Sorry. Matt, like opening.
Your Honor, may I just grab another photo? Thank you.
I don't know what cross-examination is getting from these witnesses. They seem very eager to cross them, but aren't really getting the answers that they want. The style of crossing, I think he's hoping that they just say yes when he gives something that's similar to the truth, but not exactly what happened. It's an interesting style.
Please remain standing, raise your right hand, face the front.
Defense is hired.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. Please state and spell your first and last name for the record.
Matthew, M-A-T-T-H-E-W, Hovanes, H-O-V-A-N-E-C.
May I proceed, Your Honor? Thank you very much. Sir, what do you do for a living?
I'm employed by the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department.
Okay. And what section are you assigned to?
I'm the commission supervisor, one of the commission supervisors of the Digital Forensics Lab.
What are the responsibilities of the Digital Forensics Lab, sir?
We collect, process, and make reports on all digital data, whether that's phones, videos, computers, tablets, the like.
Okay. Could you tell me a little bit about some of the training and experience you've had leading up to working in this division?
Sure. I've got over 1,000 hours of training relevant to digital forensics from IASIS, which is the International Association of Computer Investigative Specialists. I have my CFC, which is Certified Forensic Computer Examiner. I also have a CMDE, which is Certified Mobile Device Examiner. For some of the vendor-specific training that we use with Cellebrite, I have a CCO and CCPA certification, also drone certified through Cellebrite. With Magnet, I have a
Drones
MCFE,
certified through
Magnet
Celebrite.
Certified Forensic Examiner,
Thought it
and
was
a
FAA.
CMGE. I also have training in cell phone repair and video training.
Okay.
This is a 2-week
Did you
trial.
assist Metro and specifically the homicide section led by Justine Gaddis in an investigation regarding the death of Jeffrey Gehrman?
I did.
Were there a series of devices that you were responsible for forensically downloading?
There were.
Did that include a phone that belonged to Robert Tellis?
Yes.
Do you remember what type of phone that was?
I believe it was a Google Pixel 6.
Okay. Did you also assist in forensically downloading a phone belonging to Jeffrey Gehrman?
I do not believe I did that phone.
Okay. Let me ask you about this. Did you assist in forensically downloading a workplace computer belonging to Mr. Tellis?
I did.
I object as to foundation as to who it belonged to, so I objected that characterization.
Can you lay a foundation?
Sure. Well, let's start this way. Did you forensically download a desktop?
I did.
Okay. Did you review any materials or documents to learn where that desktop came from?
I did.
Okay. What sort of materials did you review?
User accounts, where the computer was collected from.
Okay. Did you ever have any time to consult also with Detective Justine Gaddis about materials that were collected by her homicide team?
Yes.
Okay. So let me ask you the question again. There was a desktop that you forensically downloaded, correct?
Yes.
Who did it belong to?
Robert Tellis.
Okay. And where did it come from?
From the Clark County, I can't remember the exact
Public
title of the
Administrator's
office. Public
Office?
Administrator's Office, yes.
Okay. Thank you. Sir, if you could just explain to the jury, what does it mean to forensically download something?
So when we forensically download something, we get the device in the state it is and try to make absolutely no changes to it. We want the device to be in the same state it was when we retrieved that device or when we were given that device. So when we download a phone or download a computer, we're using software and hardware that makes no changes to that device.
Okay. Are you familiar with a program called Celebrite?
I am.
What is Celebrite?
Celebrite is a company that manufactures software and hardware for downloading phones, computers and phones.
Was Celebrite utilized in the forensic download of Robert Tellis's Google Pixel phone?
Yes.
All right. I want to ask you, with respect to Mr. Tellis's workplace desktop computer, what program was used to forensically download that?
For that, it was Magnet Axiom.
Okay. How does that operate? Similar to Celebrite, different?
It's similar to Celebrite. A program's used to create an image, and then Magnet, the Axiom program, is used to process that image and create reports.
Okay, so we're talking about reports. Are they sometimes referred to as an extraction report?
Yes.
Okay, what is an extraction report?
There's different types of reports that can be created by each program. It's something that allows the end user, in this case, detectives going over the case or attorneys, to look at that data that I've processed in a viewable format, tag items, create reports from it.
Okay. When you look at one of these, so for example, if there's certain information in a phone that's identified as potentially relevant or connected some way, you can identify it, and then this report will spit it out in some sort of format. Would that be correct?
Yes.
Okay. So for example, will the extraction report have information about potentially when, let's just use a photo, for example. Let's say you find a photo, it is marked, and it's extract. Will it have information potentially relating to either when it's created or maybe when it's appearing on the phone, something along those lines?
It is possible.
Okay. Will it include potentially locations, like a pathway about where it might be found within a device?
Yes.
Potentially, let's say if the image has, like maybe there's metadata about GPS coordinates, could sometimes that be attached to an image or some sort of device?
It can be.
Okay, it just depends, correct?
Yes.
Have you reviewed a series of extraction reports related to information contained inside Mr. Tellis's phone?
Yes.
All right. I'd like to, let's see, I'm going to show, give me 1 second.
really want to see this attorney do a closing. Last time I saw him close was in the Thommy trial. And I liked that. I want to see him do another one. We are in the state's case in chief. This is, I think, day 6 of the trial. The first couple days were jury selection, so day 4 for us. Watching testimony. Should go about 2 weeks.
356. 361. 357. 360. 358.
He's just saying numbers right now.
363. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. And 364.
I reviewed these.
Any objections?
No objection.
Okay.
Unified stipulation.
And just for the court have a record of those exhibits? Okay. I'm going to come up and show you those exhibits. Got a digital version of them as well, but let's just at least take a look at these real quick and let me know if you're familiar with what you're looking at there.
I wonder if he's given that pencil. That pencil has a little string on it, and you pull the string and you can unwrap it a little bit. It's I think it's like a charcoal pencil. It doesn't use a pencil sharpener. I wonder if that's a security issue. He's not allowed to have a sharp object. I mean, he's allegedly to have stabbed somebody. Grease pencil.
Yes, I'm familiar with these.
Okay. And you've seen digital versions of this as well, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are these extraction reports derived from Mr. Tellis' Google Pixel phone?
Yes.
All right. I'm also at this time going to ask for the admission of state's proposed 354, which is essentially a digital equivalent of that same information.
No objection.
It's admitted.
Okay. This time we are going to publish 354. Could? Yeah, we could just queue over. Oh, I've got to move it over. It's okay. I got it. Here we go. Okay, opening the file, it says Telus phone. Let's open the file that says phone evidence campaign photo.
Campaign photo.
So, let's close this up. So this is an example of an extraction report, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And let me just zoom in here for a second. So we have this thing that says path. What is that?
That's the file path that this specific artifact was located at.
All right. And when you look at that, can you tell roughly where in the phone that's coming from?
I can tell what application it was derived from.
Okay, so tell us what application it was derived from.
From Google Photos.
From Google Photos. What is it? What do you see there in that extraction pathway that tells you that?
The google.android.apps.photos.
Okay. We look over to the right. There's in that second big column, it indicates the word modified. What does that mean?
So being that this is a cached file, that's the last time that the phone interacted with that specific file.
Okay. And sometimes that can, for example, in some instances, you may have like a created on date. Would that be correct?
Correct.
So if you could tell, if the phone, the extraction could show, like, we know definitively that that phone created that particular, it might say created or something along those lines. Is that right?
You'd usually have something like created data or more metadata.
Okay. But at the end of the day, what does the word cached mean, by the way? How does that work in relation to phones?
Cache is phones use it, computers use it. It's temporary storage. When, say, use an application, visit a website, data, files, scripts, media, pictures can be stored in the cache to assist those applications or, say, a website in loading information faster so that it's not always going back to the source to download it. It tries to make the application run smoother, run faster for the user.
Okay. And so we have here, there's a couple of thumbnails over here, so those are kind of small images of that, correct?
Correct.
And we can see, this thumbnail, the Reelect Rob, tell us what is the date that it was modified or last modification date on there?
That'd be April 5th of 2022.
Okay, and this first image, when is that modified?
July 24th, 2022.
Okay. Close that out. And then there are associated in this folder we have a full image, is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Did you have an opportunity to generate an extraction report regarding items searched items within Mr. Tellis's phone?
Sorry, could you say that once more?
Was there an extraction report generated for searched items, certain searched items within Mr. Tellis's phone?
Yes.
Okay. What does the searched items category mean in relation to Celebrate?
So in this instance, it was using the Google Chrome app, and it was something that would have been searched on there.
So you would kind of type those words into your phone, and then it would spit out potentially a result or create a record. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So when we look at this one, how many times was this tagged?
There's 25 tags.
Okay. And so when we look at what is the timestamp of the first one?
6:43:54 p.m. on
go ahead.
On June 21st, 2022.
So you tricked me. You went time first, and I was kind of thrown off there. I wanted the date more importantly, but thank you very much. So on 6/21/22, someone typed into the phone, what's this category that says value? Why is that? What does that mean?
That's the value that was typed in.
Okay, and then when we look at source, again, is this kind of like the pathway?
Yes.
And where is it telling you these words, Jeff Gehrman, Las Vegas? Where is that popping up in this particular phone?
I'm not sure I understand that question.
Well, is this a pathway here? Is it telling you what application was being used when those words were typed?
Yes, the source is telling you what application was in use.
So what is the application?
That'd be Chrome.
Chrome. What is Chrome?
Chrome is a web browser.
Okay, is that like Safari if you have an Apple?
Yes.
Okay. So just scrolling down, are we seeing the same terms being used?
That is correct.
Lots of terms.
Does it appear that all of these dates are June 21st of 2022?
It does.
Looking at entry number 17, what's the value in terms being used now?
In value, it's Jeff Gehrman, Las Vegas, with Rob 4 in V in parentheses.
Okay.
Or, sorry, quotations.
Was there an extraction report regarding web history?
Yes.
What is web history in terms of this program?
Web history with this program can look again at the browsers you're using and what exactly you're doing with that browser, what websites you're visiting.
Okay, so you can kind of see again, someone may type in terms and you can see if they're visiting a particular website. Is that correct? How many tags are there here?
18.
Okay. What was the title? What were the words being typed into Google search?
Jeff Gehrman, Las Vegas.
And what was the date?
6/21/22.
At what time?
6:43:54 p.m.
Does this appear to parallel the first entry under the searched items as well?
It does.
And can that happen? You can type, the program can pick up when you're typing in and consider it a searched item, but if it shows up in your web browser, it might also be captured under web history.
Yes, multiple artifacts can be found in multiple places.
Okay.
We're scrolling.
And these are examples of all the time that those terms were searched. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, another area is photographs. We talked about photographs briefly. Were there a series of extractions brought up regarding images found on a phone?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Detective, are you familiar with the date in which Jeff Gehrman passed away?
I do not recall the specific date.
Okay. If I told you September 2nd of 2022, you wouldn't have a reason to disagree, is that correct?
No.
Okay. Now, I want to take a look at this extraction report. How many tags are there?
3.
Okay. And what is the pathway related to these images?
Again, it's from the google.android.apps.photos.
Okay. And so it's coming from like a photo library?
From Google Photos.
Okay. And a Google Photos in his phone?
It could be in his phone, could be in the cloud.
So that's when we take pictures and then it kind of flows up into the cloud and it's stored up there.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. So what is the modified date on this image here?
8/19/2022 at 1:42:15 p.m.
Okay. How about the second entry? What is the modified date there?
8/19/2022 12:23:30 p.m.
Okay. And the third one?
8/19/2022 1:42:15 p.m.
Okay. And you mentioned that these also capture the actual images themselves. Is that right? When we do these reports?
Yes.
Publishing the first file.
I need to turn off the ceiling fan in here because it's freezing me. Hold on one second.
What color is that shoe on the right?
It appears to be gray.
Okay. What brand does it appear to be?
Nike?
Sir, when we look at the sole of the shoe, is it purely white or does it appear to have a design somewhere in the middle here?
Appears there's a design.
What sort of design does it look like?
4 black squares.
Okay. And this image was found inside Mr. Tellis's phone?
Yes.
And the modified date on that was August 19th of 2022?
Yes.
Okay, so roughly, do my math correctly, 13 days before Mr. Gehrman's murder, 12 days if my math is off?
Sounds correct.
Okay.
So whoever framed him knew what shoes he had.
And then this image appears 3 different times?
That's correct.
One second.
It is a strange picture. I'm not sure. It might have been an accidental photograph.
Was an extraction report produced using the term Alfred camera?
Yes.
Publishing that file. How many, what is timeline?
Timeline is just giving you a reference of how many different columns there are, basically, how many you've extracted or tagged.
And in Celebrite, if there's a timeline, does it kind of put events that occur in the phone in chronological order?
It does.
Okay. So there appears to be what? How many things pulled from the timeline?
7.
Okay. And there's a column here that says type, correct?
Yes.
And so it kind of tells you what type of data entry point is inside the phone. Would that be fair?
Yes.
Okay, so let's read out entry number 1. What is the type?
Installed applications.
So what does that mean?
Be when you downloaded an application from an app store.
Can you please tell me the date that this application was installed?
9/5/2022 at 12:03:53 a.m.
And if you could just help us, there's this parent parentheses that says UTC -7. What does that mean?
UTC is a time code, so right now we're in -7 during daylight savings time.
Okay, so we're talking time zones, is that right?
Yeah, universal coordinated time, and then every time zone goes off of that.
And we're Pacific, correct?
Yes.
And so to get to Pacific, you'd have to subtract 7 hours?
Yes.
And is that what the program is indicating, that this has been converted to Pacific time?
Yes.
All right. If you could, so it says timestamp, it reads that date. Read what it says right here.
Purchase date?
Okay, and then what's the description of what application was purchased?
The Alfred Camera Home Security app.
Okay, so this application was installed by someone 3 days after Mr. Gehrman was killed.
Correct.
All right. Let's go to the next entry. What is entry number 2 about?
Web history.
All right. And give us the date and time.
9/5/2022, 12:10:46 a.m.
So because this is timeline, it's kind of merging different sources of information, correct?
Yes.
Like before we had a report that just looked at web history, but timeline can pull from different spaces, right?
Correct.
So for example, if there was an image that might relate to this, it would also migrate into this report. Would that be correct?
That's possible.
All right. So if you could, it's indicate, what's the term that's being used right there?
It's the last visited time.
What does that mean?
When somebody last visited that website.
All right. So at 12:10 a.m., what is the user of this phone visiting?
The Alfred Web Viewer PC is home security monitor using Google Chrome.
Okay. And we find, is there a second entry mirroring all of that same information?
Yes.
Look at entry number 4. How about then?
Same information.
But is the date a little bit different?
The time is different, yes.
Okay. We have other similar entries. Is that correct on the 5th?
That is correct.
Okay. Was there information, an extraction report also, apologize, was there also an extraction report derived from images that appeared to come from Google Maps?
Yes.
Okay. So, let's first pull up the extraction report. How many images relating to Google Map images were tagged for this report?
132.
So that signifies that there was 132 images found on his phone related to this particular topic?
That were tagged, yes.
Okay.
What was the topic?
Let's start scrolling through some of this.
Google Map image.
For example, with this
Garmin
first
house.
one here, can you tell us when you look at the pathway, where are these images coming from?
From the Google Maps app.
Okay, this is
So they're
bad.
coming from the Google Maps app?
Yes.
All right. What's the modification date on this?
Again, that would be the last time that application interacted with that specific artifact.
Please read out the date for entry number 1.
8/12/2022, 9:55:24 p.m.
Okay. Let's look at this second one. What is there? It's off by a couple of different seconds, correct?
Yes.
But all the information remains the same?
Yes.
Does 8/12/22 appear to be the same date for these items?
It does.
He's looked at every possible angle of this house.
Let's just...
Looking for cameras.
All the way down to the end, all from 8/12. Is that correct?
Correct.
So, let's open up a folder that says 7216 Bronze Circle. You recognize what you're looking at here?
A home?
It's a home. Is it in a certain type of web program?
This would be in Google Street View, yes, so Google Maps.
Okay. And So at this particular home, this is kind of an angle. This would be if someone was in Google Maps and pulled up a street view of 7216 Brown Circle. Is that correct?
Yes.
Is it just another angle of
Yes.
that same home?
Yes.
Let's start getting to the actual images. So this is one of the images that was found inside Mr. Tellis's phone. Does this correspond to one of the thumbnails?
Yes.
How about this one?
Yes. 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 Yes.
Whoa.
Yes. Yes.
You need a yes counter.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Have we looped yet? He said, wait. That one with the
Pulling
manhole
up
cover. Not sure about
7212
that
Brown
one.
Circle. What are we looking at in this image?
Another street view of a house.
Okay. Is this image pulled out of Mr. Tellis's phone?
Yes.
And again, the dates on these were August
Camera
12th
system.
of 2022.
Yes.
So that's roughly, my math is usually terrible, about 20 days before Mr. Gehrman is killed. If it's September 2nd. Am I doing that math right? I feel like I am.
It sounds close.
Sounds close? Okay. In this photograph, what does that appear to be? Right above the street address on the house?
Appears to be a solar-powered security camera.
And that was inside Mr. Tellis's phone.
The image, yes.
Are these images that came out of this extraction?
Yes. 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 Yes.
What are we looking at here? This is another street view
It is.
of this street called Bronze Circle.
It is.
Are these following images that were pulled out of Mr. Tellis's phone?
They are.
And there's a series of folders here that identify different houses on this street. Would that be correct?
Correct.
Okay. But ultimately, when you put them all together, it totals. How many does it total again, based on this?
132.
That's a lot of
With a date
scoping
of
out.
August 12th of 2022.
Correct.
Was there also images, an extraction report created regarding what appeared to be, I apologize, I need to move this over, what appeared to be almost like surveillance?
There was.
Publishing that report. How many tags are related here?
101.
If you could, please tell me the pathway where these images come from.
The google.android.apps.photos cache.
So it's coming from, again, the photo application inside Mr. Tellis's phone?
That or Google Photo Cloud, one of
Okay, or it was up in the cloud associated, but that phone, that particular phone belonging to Mr. Sell is associated with that cloud, correct?
Yes.
Okay. What's the modification date on this?
8/15/2022, 10:24:07 a.m.
So 3 days after the 132 images found of Bronze Circle.
That's correct.
And this is a rough look of what all of these images look like, correct?
Correct.
What appears to be captured in these photographs?
Vehicles driving down a street.
And they all appear to be from 8/15 of 2022, correct?
They do.
So bad. We've never seen this in court before because any other defendant with this much evidence against
So a
him takes a
total of
plea deal.
101, is that right?
That's correct.
Now, we don't have all 101, but we will. I want to ask you, do these appear to be some of the images that appear inside this phone related to this extraction report?
They do.
The bird. Look at the bird. The pigeon's like, what are you doing? It's actually a dove, but we're going to call it a pigeon.
Was there also an extraction report created relating to images that appeared to have information related to Jeffrey Gehrman?
There was.
How many tags were there?
7.
He stood there on the corner.
Why don't
taking
you tell
pictures
us
with
again
his
about
phone.
the pathway? Where did these images come from?
From the Google Photos app.
So the same application that had kind of like this, the pictures of the cars driving by, same place.
Yes.
In the same place where all the Bronze Circle pictures are taken, correct?
Yes.
Okay, those came from the 12th and the 15th. Tell us about this date. When do these images, when are these at least show up as being modified?
8/23/2022.
Okay, so just a couple of days later, correct?
Correct.
And every one of these 7 images is from that date, correct?
Correct.
If you could, please read me the name that is under registrants.
Jeffrey M. Gehrman.
Okay? I'd like to go 2 notches down. Please read the registrant and the address.
Jeffrey M. Gehrman, 7216 Bronze Circle, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89128, I believe.
Okay? Can you tell me what is this? Read the top line up here. What does that say?
2021 Honda Civic Sport.
It provides a VIN number as well, is that right?
It does.
Okay. It provides the body style, is that right?
It does.
And when we look at this, can you look at the bottom and read the words of what that says right there?
Dell.
Okay. You're familiar with computers, correct?
Correct.
Does that appear to be a monitor?
It does.
A monitor that might be sitting on a desk, potentially?
Potentially.
Okay.
A computer work
This
monitor?
came out of Mr. Tellis's phone.
Yes.
And the date of the modification on this is August 23rd. Is that right?
That's correct.
And that would be roughly 8 or 9 days. I just can't remember if August. Is August have 31 days? I feel like August has 31 days. And if that's the case, then that would be 9 days before Mr. Gehrman was killed.
Correct.
Okay. So this image comes out of Mr. Tellis's phone. 31 days. I love that math. It's good. Okay. Did this image
Need a calendar.
come out of Mr.
On the
Tellis's
thumbnail.
phone?
3031.
Please, what are the names that we keep seeing appearing in here?
Jeffrey M. Gehrman.
Okay, and it's listing what? What's it kind of showing? Different what?
Different cars.
Okay. Again, do we see the Dell thing again?
Yes.
Okay.
That's a lease history. 2010, 2013.
Next image, is this another angle of it? Another angle of like another image?
Yes.
Okay, it appears to come from a
2016.
monitor, from a monitor for a computer.
Yes.
Is it more information
his
about
Hondas.
Garmin and Hondas?
Had
It
one
is.
Volkswagen.
I guess there's another one down here, 2003 what?
2003 Volkswagen Passat GL.
Right? What are we looking at here? This is another image that came from the phone.
It is?
And again, it has similar information that we saw from one of the other images.
Correct.
Again, this comes out of Mr. Tellis's phone.
It does.
And let's look at this one. What's this say up here?
Jeffrey M. Gehrman.
Okay, does it provide a date of birth for Mr. Gehrman?
It does.
What is the date of birth of Mr. Gehrman?
8/23/1953, 69 years old.
All right. Does it also provide a bronze circle address as well for Mr. Gehrman?
It does.
So the date on that is 8/23. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, you mentioned that you also did a download of Mr. Tellis's work computer, correct?
Correct.
A computer that was found in his office. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. Did you produce a series of reports similar to an extraction report in relation to that?
Yes.
Okay. I'd like to open up the first file here that's entitled Chrome Autofill 07216 Bronze. Is this kind of the cover page for your report, sir?
For a PDF report, yes.
Okay. So, this indicates Chrome Autofill Record 1, is that right?
That's correct.
Tell me, what's the significance of the category name?
When something's typed in, such as an address into Google, it might think you want to store that as an autofill to make it easier to populate when you're typing something in the future.
What's the date on that?
That is 8/23/2022 at 6:05:40 p.m.
Okay. So that's the same date that we had those that we looked at before, right?
Yes.
So the ones that had like the car registration information that appear to be on a monitor, computer monitor, we've got the same, at least the same date as those images, correct?
That's correct.
Can you please read to me what value was entered in at that point?
7216 bronze.
That's the same street associated with Mr. Gehrman on those images from 8/23, is that right?
That's correct.
Is that the same street name as all of those Google mapped images that we saw?
Correct.
It's crazy that he was doing surveillance on somebody while also being surveilled. Just
Let's
on
open the file.
alternate
It says
days.
Chrome logins,
You can't make this stuff up.
R.E. Tellis. Now, read to me username. What's it say?
The username is rtellis at Clark County.
Okay, what's the created date and time on that?
8/23/2022 at 6:04:56 p.m.
All right. And
This is
what,
IDI Core.
what is IDI Core? Do you know what that is?
I do not know what
Okay.
IDI Core is.
But essentially, just to be clear, the last thing that we looked at also tied into IDI Core, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so all this comes from the IDI Core program, right?
Correct.
And whoever punched in their username put in rtellis at Clark County?
Yes.
Okay, on 8/23 of 2022.
Yes.
Well, now we know the website and the username. Hopefully nobody shows his password or else people will
Now I'm
use
opening a
this.
file that says Chrome Web History Expanded Person Search. Can you tell me what's the date and time on this one?
8/23/2022, 6:05:41 p.m.
And read to me the URL or the website that was being visited.
It's www.idicore.com/search/expanded person search.
And there's a visit count. How many times is that visited?
7.
And again, this is all from the same date as we saw those other images that appear to come from a desktop monitor.
Correct.
Court's indulgent. I have no further questions for this
All right,
witness.
bring on the cross. Let's see this. Diane Laird, welcome to the gallery. You're one of us now. You can never leave.
Afternoon.
In reference to the report that you generated, which is State's Exhibit 354, we'll start with the questions concerning the extractions in reference to the cell phone. Do you call that line of questioning? There are a number of times that you were asked by the state the cell phone, and you pretty much every time responded the iCloud, correct? These images that you can testify to were derived or extracted from the iCloud.
No, iCloud would be for an Apple phone. This was a Google phone.
Okay, so
just
it would be
the
a cloud, the
Yes.
cloud, Google Cloud. I mean,
Yes.
are you aware of how many devices, communication devices, had access to this cloud?
I am not.
So it could be 1, it could be 20. You're not able to give an opinion or testimony in reference to the number of cell phones, correct?
With access to that cloud account, no.
You have had experience in your employee dealing with clouds that are hacked?
Personally, no.
Personally, but you've been involved, but you're aware of investigations wherein a person's cloud is hacked?
Yes.
In fact, we hear about it, don't we? Oftentimes, oh, my cloud was hacked.
We do.
You were not called upon to conduct an investigation concerning the hacking of this cloud, correct?
No.
You were asked questions concerning an application
Does a
in
cloud
reference
hack
to
make it
security
rain?
cameras. Do you remember that line of questioning?
Correct.
And it appeared that there was an app downloaded, whether to the phone. Can you testify concerning that? Was that downloaded to the phone or to the cloud?
It was downloaded to the phone.
So we're able to pinpoint the security application being downloaded to that phone, correct?
Correct.
The Pixel phone.
Correct.
And you were asked a date, and that date was on September 5th, 2022, correct?
That sounds correct.
And this app that was downloaded was concerning security cameras.
That's what it sounds like.
Fairly common. One can download a security camera app in order to monitor their security cameras.
It is.
You'll agree with me that generally people download or purchase a security camera and download an application concerning that security camera if there's a concern in reference to their security.
Yes.
You were asked questions in relation to the date that Mr. Gehrman passed, and you were told, hey, if it's September 2nd, 2022, would you have any reason to disagree with me? You call that question?
Yes.
Obviously, this case concerns the passing, the killing of Mr. Gehrman, correct?
Correct.
Fair to say that a person downloads a security app in reference to a security system in order to protect themselves and their property.
Correct.
Objection, calls for speculation.
Obviously, the point being that hey, if a person's concerned about their security, someone that they may know has been killed, it would be reasonable to assume they would get a security camera and download an app in order to access that security camera from their phone.
Could be.
But we all know differently.
In reference to the Dell, the desktop, the last part of your questionings concerning various downloads in reference to Mr. Gehrman from the office laptop. Remember that line of questioning?
The office computer, yes.
Correct. Based upon your testimony, those images were downloaded after 6 p.m., correct?
Those images were still in UTC time. The one on the screen shows right now they haven't been converted for Pacific Standard Time yet.
After 5 o'clock?
No, that website, if you do the time conversion, would be 11:05:41 a.m. on the 23rd.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
Redirect?
Yes.
So he did this after 5 o'clock.
There were some questions about
after work.
hacking.
Nope.
Did you see, when you reviewed the phone, did you find any evidence that this phone download was corrupted in any way?
No.
Did anybody from Metro Homicide provide you any information to suggest that this phone had been hacked into?
No.
There was questions about it's reasonable to assume. I think the question related something along the lines of, if someone had been murdered, it might be reasonable to assume someone might download a security camera to potentially protect themselves. Do you remember being asked something like that?
I do.
Under that same line, possibly if someone actually had committed the killing, would it be reasonable to assume you might want to put security cameras up to see if people...
object as a speculation. Thank you.
Okay.
It's okay. He smiles because
The
he got the question.
time that we can see up on the screen, 6:05, on 8/23/2022, when you convert that to UTC time, what does that actually come out to?
Again, it's 8/23/2022 at 11:05:41 a.m.
Great. I'm just showing opposing counsel, which is marked as no objection. Permission to publish 351.
Okay, it's admitted by stipulation at this
Correct,
time,
yes.
and you may publish.
Could we just cue over for 1 second? So,
There's the 31 days in August calendar.
August 22nd fell on a what?
August 22nd fell on a Monday.
And you said the time was what time when you converted to UTC time?
I believe it was 11. Well, what I converted to Pacific Standard Time was 11:05 and was it 41 seconds?
So at 11:05 on a Monday, someone went into Mr. Tellis's work computer and started looking up things like 7216 Bronze Circle.
Correct.
I have no further questions for this witness.
No recess.
Thank you very much for your testimony here today. You may step down. You are excused from your subpoena. Do you have the next witness waiting?
May we approach?
Sure.
Let's see. We've been working for almost an hour. Is it time for lunch yet? It does great redirects. Oh my goodness. It is funny. I keep being astounded by the sheer volume and weight of the evidence against the defendant in this case. Just, why are we here? Why are we having this conversation?
Thank you. Okay, at this time, we're going to recess for lunch. During this recess, you're admonished not to discuss or communicate with anyone, including your fellow jurors, in any way regarding the case or its merits, either by voice, phone, email, text, internet, or other means of communication or social media. Read, watch, or listen to any news or media accounts or commentary about the case. Do any research, consult dictionaries, the internet, or reference materials. Do any investigation, test a theory, recreate any aspect of the case, or in any other way investigate or learn about the case on your own, or former express any opinion regarding the case till it's finally submitted to you, and will be in recess till 1:30. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, for anything heard, please, George.
Recess till 1:30. Let's see. 8, 6. We have no audio, so we're just going to leave it at that. All right, it's lunchtime. It's lunchtime, which means we all get to go get some food, which is awesome. Take a power nap. I'm exhausted. I'm recovering from a Mountain Dew. It's a Mountain Dew hangover. It's a withdrawal. I can power through this. I'll be okay. I kid you not. I went to bed at 9:30 last night. Woke up at 7 this morning. I got plenty of sleep. This is not a lack of sleep situation. This is me learning not to drink Mountain Dew again. All right, we did just start court, but now we're at lunch. Why am I clipping? Test 1 2. Test. Oh wow, it's coming in hot. That's why. Test 1 2. Check 1 2. That's better, but now it's quiet in my ears. We'll adjust that. Test 1 2. Test 1 2. That's better. All right, now we're not clipping. All right, we are going to go to lunch. We're going to have some food. We're going to have some fun. I might take a little snooze. I'll have to set an alarm so I don't sleep through it. We're going to be back here at 1:30 Eastern Time, which is 12:30 Mountain, 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central. Is that right? Did I do that right? I think I did. We're going to be back. The evidence is piling up. We have a mountain of evidence already against Mr. Robert Tullis in this case. It looks bad for him, and we're not done. We're still piling it on. This has got to be one of the most perfect. I mean, we're talking like aliens and time travel have to be involved if this is the frame job. I cannot see it any other way right now. But prosecution is going to keep building their case after lunch. Tonight when you go home, please hug the people you love. Smile at someone to make their day just a little bit better. And please stay safe until we go live in about, they said 1:30, so an hour and 15 minutes from now. Hour and 15 minutes from now. We'll be live in about an hour. Back in 1 hour. Sound good? It's 2:30 Mountain Dew Standard Time. Thank you. I see what you did there, Greeners. Try putting a third Mountain Dew and 2/3 water to wean yourself. That's... No, I'm more of a cold turkey fan. Get it all out. Get it over with. So we'll be good. All right, you guys. It's a fantastic day. Make sure you enjoy a little bit. Look outside. See the sunshine. We'll be back after lunch. Catch you in a little bit. Bye. Rebecca, welcome to the gallery. See you after lunch.